Welcome to the channel. If epic sci-fi stories are your thing, you've just found your new home. Subscribe, like, and share the adventure. The moment Commander Alex Kane's bare hand brushed against the crystalline surface of the Villani shrine, three things happened simultaneously. Every light in the sacred chamber flickered and died. A sound like breaking glass echoed through the temple walls, and High Priestess Kira collapsed to her knees, her luminescent skin dimming to a sickly gray. "What have you done?" she whispered, her voice carrying a tremor that made Alex's chest tighten with dread. He pulled his hand back as if the crystal had burned him, though it felt cold as winter steel. The diplomatic mission to Velen Prime had been going smoothly, too smoothly perhaps. The first peaceful contact between humans and the Villani in over a century, and now this. "I don't understand," Alex stammered, watching as other Villani priests rushed into the chamber, their bioluminescent patterns flickering in distress. "I was just examining the shrine. The translator said it was permitted." "The translator doesn't know everything," Kira interrupted, struggling to her feet. Her companions supported her, their faces masks of horror and something deeper betrayal. "Your species. We had heard rumors, but we never believed them to be true." Outside the temple, alarms began to wail across the city. Through the vast windows, Alex could see the Villani's artificial sun's massive fusion reactors that had lit their world for millennia beginning to flicker like dying candles. "High Priestess, please," Alex said, his diplomatic training kicking in despite the growing panic. "Tell me what's happening. Let me help fix this." Kira's laugh was bitter, devoid of the musical quality that had made their earlier conversations so pleasant. "Fix this? Human, do you understand what you've just done? That shrine has maintained the harmonic resonance of our sun hearts for 3,000 years. Every Villani child learns not to touch it with bare flesh. The neural patterns, the bioelectric fields, they're too chaotic, too unpredictable." "But I'm just human," Alex protested. "Exactly." Kira's eyes, which had glowed like soft amber throughout their negotiations, now seemed dim and haunted. "Your kind doesn't understand, does it? You think consciousness is simple, that sentience is a binary state. But true life is harmony. It's balance. It's the careful dance of energy and matter refined over eons." The lights in the temple failed completely now, emergency systems casting everything in harsh red shadows. Through his communicator, Alex could hear his ship's captain trying to reach him, static crackling with increasing urgency. "And humans?" Kira continued, her voice growing stronger even as her glow continued to fade. "Humans are chaos incarnate. Your neural patterns don't follow any known harmonic sequence. Your bioelectric fields shift and surge without rhythm or reason. You're walking electromagnetic storms, and we never knew. Every great bond starts with a single moment of courage. HFY Chronicle Stories is just beginning, and your support matters. If you love emotional sci-fi tales, forbidden connections, and stories that stay with you, hit subscribe. It's free, and it helps us bring more stories. From the stars to you. Alex felt the weight of what she was saying settle on his shoulders like a lead blanket. The suns ... they're connected to this shrine? To this and dozens like it across our worlds. We are a networked species, Commander. Our technology, our biology, our very souls are interlinked through quantum harmonics. And you. She gestured weakly at his hands. One touch from a human has introduced discord into a system that took us millennia to perfect. Through the temple walls, they could hear the sounds of a civilization beginning to panic. The steady hum that had underlaid every moment of Alex's visit to Velen Prime, a sound he'd assumed was simply city noise, was growing irregular, discordant. "There has to be something we can do," Alex said, desperation creeping into his voice. "Some way to reverse this." Kira looked at him with something that might have been pity. "Perhaps. But first, you need to understand what your species truly is. and why, despite everything, we might need you now more than ever. Captain Lisa Morgan's voice crackled through Alex's communicator with barely contained panic. Alex, we're reading. Massive energy fluctuations across the entire planet. Their fusion reactors are destabilizing. What the hell happened down there? Alex pressed the device closer to his ear, trying to shut out the chaos erupting around him. Villani citizens were fleeing the temple complex, their natural bioluminescence creating rivers of frightened light in the darkening streets. I touched something I shouldn't have. Captain, I need you to contact Earth Command immediately. We're going to need every xenobiologist and quantum physicist we have. Negative on the Earth contact, Lisa replied, her voice tight. We're being jammed some kind of quantum interference that's scrambling our long-range communications. Alex, the Villani defense grid just powered up. 37 battleships are moving into attack formation around our position. High Priestess Kira, still supported by her fellow priests, gestured for silence. Despite her weakened state, her voice carried an authority that made even the panicking crowds pause. My people fear what they don't understand. And what you've done, Commander Kane, is beyond their comprehension. Then help me understand, Alex said, turning to face her fully. You said humans are chaos incarnate. Explain. Kira nodded to one of her assistants, who activated a portable holographic display. The image showed two neural network patterns side by side. One was beautiful in its symmetry, waves of energy flowing in perfect, predictable spirals. The other looked like a storm system, all jagged peaks and chaotic valleys. This is a Villani mind, Kira said, pointing to the first pattern. And this is yours, scanned during our preliminary meetings. We assumed the readings were faulty. Alex stared at the chaotic pattern that represented his own consciousness. It looks broken. That's what we thought too. Every sapient species we've encountered follows harmonic patterns. Even the warlike Thakari maintain neural rhythms that can be predicted and modeled. But humans ... She shook her head. Your thoughts fire in random bursts. Your emotions spike without warning. Your very existence violates every law of cognitive harmony we know. The temple shuddered as another fusion reactor somewhere in the city shut down. Emergency lighting cast strange shadows across the ancient walls, making the crystalline shrine seem to pulse with its own malevolent life. Yet here, you are, Kira continued, the most innovative species the galaxy has ever produced. While we spent millennia perfecting our harmony, creating technology that worked in perfect balance with our biology, you achieved faster-than-light travel in mere centuries. You've colonized hostile worlds, survived wars that should have destroyed you, and created art that moves even us to tears. Alex's communicator buzzed again. Alex, they're targeting our ship. I need orders. Stand down, Alex replied quickly. Do not, under any circumstances, fire on their vessels. We started this problem, and we're going to fix it. How? The question came from everyone present, his captain through the communicator, Kira, and her. Priests around him, even his own terrified mind. Kira studied him with those dimming amber eyes. There might be a way, but it would require you to do something that goes against every instinct of self-preservation your species possesses. What do you mean? To reverse what you've done, we would need to recalibrate every shrine across our network simultaneously. But the quantum entanglement that connects them means the signal must originate from a living neural pattern, one capable of interfacing directly with our harmonic systems. Alex felt a chill run down his spine. You're talking about plugging my brain into your network. More than that. You would need to become part of it, temporarily. Allow your chaotic neural patterns to synchronize with our harmonic systems, creating a bridge between order and chaos. Kira's voice dropped to barely above a whisper. But Commander, no biological system has ever survived direct interface with our quantum network. The feedback would likely kill you within minutes. Through the temple walls, they could hear the sounds of evacuation sirens. Entire city districts were going dark as more fusion reactors failed. In the distance, the glow of the Villani's primary sun heart was visibly dimming. "And if I don't do it?" Alex asked, though he already knew the answer. "Our sons will die one by one. Our technology will fail. And my people's 60 billion souls across 12 worlds will face extinction within days." Alex closed his eyes, thinking of the chaos pattern that represented his mind. Maybe that chaos wasn't a flaw after all. Maybe it was exactly what this situation required. The journey to the central harmonic core took them through a city transforming before their eyes. Streets that had pulsed with bioluminescent life now flickered uncertainly, as if the very foundations of Villani civilization were learning to doubt themselves. Emergency vehicles moved in patterns that Alex finally recognized as musical, even in crisis. The Villani couldn't abandon their harmonic nature. "Your people are still maintaining formation protocols," Alex observed as their transport glided between towering spires that were slowly dimming like dying stars. Kira, who had recovered some of her strength during the journey, managed a weak smile. "Harmony isn't just technology for us, Commander. It's who we are." A Villani child learns to walk in rhythm, to speak in cadence, to think in synchronized patterns. What you call chaos, we call death. The central core rose before them like a mountain made of living crystal, its surface crawling with patterns of light that reminded Alex of neural pathways. Or perhaps, he thought grimly, he was simply seeing connections everywhere now that he understood what his touch had disrupted. "The irony," Kira continued as they approached the base of the structure, "is that your chaos might be exactly what we need to survive this. Our harmonic systems are perfect, but perfection has made them fragile. One discordant note, your touch, and the entire symphony begins to collapse." They entered through massive doors that sang as they opened, each tone perfectly calibrated to resonate with the visitor's biological frequencies. Alex felt the sound in his bones, and for a moment, he understood what it might be like to live in perfect harmony with the universe around him. The core's interior was breathtaking. Crystalline structures rose in spirals that seemed to follow mathematical principles Alex couldn't name, each one pulsing with the same rhythm as a Villani heartbeat. Priests moved through this space like dancers, their every gesture part of some greater choreography. "This is where we interface with our sun hearts," Kira explained, leading them to a central platform surrounded by neural interface pods. "From here, the harmonic signals are broadcast to every shrine, every reactor, every quantum node across our civilization." Alex studied the pods with growing unease. They were beautiful, designed to cradle a Villani form perfectly, but he could see that the neural connections were incompatible with human physiology. "These won't work with my nervous system." "No," agreed Elder Tam, the chief technician who had been waiting for them. His bioluminescent patterns were so dim Alex could barely make them out. "We'll have to modify one. Create a hybrid interface that can handle both harmonic and chaotic neural patterns. How long do we have?" Alex asked. Through the core's transparent walls, they could see the city's lights continuing to fail. The great fusion reactors that served as artificial suns were operating at perhaps 60% capacity, and the decline was accelerating at current rates of decay, Tam replied, consulting a display that showed cascading system failures across 12 worlds. "Total grid collapse will occur in approximately 8 hours." Alex felt the weight of 60 billion lives settling on his shoulders. He activated his communicator. "Captain Morgan, what's the status of the Villani fleet?" "Still maintaining attack formation, but they haven't fired. I think they're waiting to see what you do down there." "Alex, I'm reading massive energy buildups in the neighboring systems. If their other worlds start losing power... double quotes Alex could fill in the rest. Desperate species did desperate things. If the Villani civilization collapsed, they might decide to take humanity down with them. We need to begin the modifications immediately, Kira said, her voice carrying new urgency. But Commander, you should know even if we can create a compatible interface, the process of synchronizing your neural patterns with our network will be intense. Intense how? Alex asked, though he suspected he didn't want to know the answer. Elder Tam activated a holographic display showing the human brain under extreme neural load. Your chaotic patterns will fight against our harmonic systems. The interface will try to force synchronization, but your mind will resist. The resulting feedback could cause massive neural trauma seizures, stroke, complete psychological breakdown. And if it works? If it works, Kira said quietly, you'll experience consciousness as no human ever has. You'll feel the thoughts of 60 billion Villani simultaneously. You'll become part of a harmonic network that spans 12 worlds. The sheer scope of that connection might drive you insane. Alex looked around the core, watching the priests work with increasing desperation to modify the interface pod. Outside, a civilization was dying because of his single innocent touch. The chaos of human consciousness had broken something beautiful and perfect. Maybe it was time to see if that same chaos could fix it. How long for the modifications? He asked. 3 hours, Tam replied. Maybe 4. Alex nodded, trying to project confidence he didn't feel. Then let's get started. We have a harmony to restore. The modified interface pod looked like a mechanical spider mated with a cathedral organ. Crystalline neural connectors had been interwoven with human-compatible neural interfaces and patterns that made Alex's eyes water to look it directly. Elder Tam and his team had worked for 4 hours straight, their bioluminescent patterns flickering with exhaustion and desperate concentration. The hybrid connection should allow your neural patterns to interface with our harmonic network, Tam explained, running final diagnostics on systems that had never been designed for human consciousness. But Commander, I must stress, we're operating in completely theoretical territory here. Alex studied the readouts, understanding perhaps 10% of what he was seeing. The Villani harmonic technology was based on principles that human science had barely begun to theorize about. What's the worst-case scenario? Total neural cascade failure, Kira replied bluntly. She had insisted on being present despite her weakened condition, her dim bioluminescence a constant reminder of what was at stake. Your consciousness could be completely overwhelmed by the network connection. Brain death within minutes. And the best case? You successfully bridge the gap between our ordered systems and human chaos, allowing us to recalibrate the entire network. Our suns are restored, our civilization survives, and you might survive as well. Through the core's walls, Alex could see the city had grown noticeably darker in the past few hours. Reports from across Villani space painted an increasingly desperate picture fusion reactors failing on world after world. Billions of people facing the prospect of frozen death as their artificial suns died one by one. His communicator crackled with Captain Morgan's voice. Alex, I'm getting reports from Earth Command. They've detected the energy fluctuations from here, and they're mobilizing the fleet. If they think the Villani are attacking us... How long until they arrive? Alex asked, though he already suspected the answer would be measured in days rather than hours. 72 hours at best. Alex, if this situation isn't resolved by then, we're looking at the first interstellar war in human history. Alex closed his eyes, feeling the weight of 2 civilizations resting on his shoulders. Human and Villani, chaos and harmony, locked in a crisis that could destroy them both. I'm ready, he announced, moving toward the modified interface pod. Let's do this. Kira caught his arm, her touch surprisingly warm despite her dimming bioluminescence. Commander, there's something else you should know. If this works, if you successfully interface with our network, you'll experience something no human has ever felt true harmony, perfect synchronization with the universe around you. Sounds peaceful, Alex replied, trying to inject some levity into the moment. It is so peaceful that many who experience it for the first time never want to return to chaos. Your mind might not want to disconnect from the network. The harmony could become addictive. Alex considered this, then shrugged. I've had worse addictions. The interface pod opened like a flower, revealing an interior that pulsed with soft, inviting light. Alex settled into the cradle-like seat, feeling the modified neural connectors align with the base of his skull. The sensation was strange, but not unpleasant, like wearing a crown made of liquid metal. Beginning initial connection, Tam announced, his hands dancing across holographic controls. Neural pattern recognition. Active. Harmonic calibration. Standby. Alex felt a tingling sensation at the base of his brain, as if someone was gently probing the edges of his consciousness. Then, suddenly he wasn't alone in his own head anymore. What. The voice wasn't quite a voice, more like a thought that carried the emotional resonance of an entire world. Alex could feel the presence of the Villani network, vast and ordered and beautiful, pressing against the chaotic edges of his mind. Human? The network voice carried curiosity now, mixed with fear and desperate hope. You are the one who brought discord to our harmony? I am, Alex replied, though he wasn't sure if he spoke aloud or simply thought the words into the connection. And I'm here to fix it. The network paused, considering. Alex could feel millions of minds touching his consciousness, examining the chaotic patterns of human thought with something approaching wonder. Your mind. It's so loud. So random. How do you think at all with such disorder? Maybe disorder isn't always a bad thing, Alex replied, feeling the network connection deepening. Maybe sometimes you need a little chaos to keep harmony from becoming stagnation. And then, like diving into an ocean made of pure thought, Alex let his consciousness merge fully with the Villani harmonic network. The moment Alex's mind fully merged with the network, he ceased to be merely human. He was Kira, feeling the desperate hope and terror as she watched the human consciousness integrate with something sacred and ancient. He was Elder Tam, monitoring bio-readings that defied every law of neural compatibility they knew. He was a child on Velen 7, watching the sky grow dim as the sun hearts failed. He was a farmer on Valan Prime, feeling crops wither as the harmonic frequencies that regulated planetary agriculture fell silent. He was 60 billion minds, all experiencing the slow death of their civilization, all hoping that this impossible gamble might somehow save them. This is what harmony feels like, Alex thought, though the concept of individual thought was becoming increasingly meaningless. The Villani network was like a vast symphony, each mind a different instrument contributing to a composition of impossible beauty and complexity. But Alex's consciousness remained stubbornly chaotic, a discordant note in the perfect song. Instead of being overwhelmed, however, he found that his randomness was creating something new, variation within the harmony, spontaneous melodies that no Villani had ever imagined. Fascinating, the collective network voice observed. Your disorder doesn't destroy our harmony. It enriches it. Alex could feel the damaged connections throughout the network, the points where his initial touch had introduced chaos into ordered systems. But now, instead of trying to impose order on the chaos, he began to understand what was needed. You don't need to eliminate the discord, he realized, his individual voice somehow still distinct within the vast chorus. You need to incorporate it, make it part of the harmony. The revelation sent shockwaves through the network. For 3,000 years, the Villani had built their civilization on the principle of perfect order, eliminating any element that didn't conform to their harmonic ideals. The concept of beneficial chaos was literally unthinkable to them. But Alex was thinking it, and through the network connection, they were all experiencing his thoughts, "Show us," the network requested. Alex reached out through the quantum connections, feeling for the damaged shrine where this had all begun. There, at the heart of the harmonic disruption, he began to weave his chaotic neural patterns into the ordered structure of Villani technology. It shouldn't have worked. Chaos and order were supposed to be opposites, mutually exclusive states. But Alex's human consciousness didn't accept that limitation. He created bridges where none should exist, patterns that were simultaneously random and structured, discord that enhanced rather than destroyed the underlying harmony. The effect was immediate and profound. On Velen Prime, the great fusion reactors that served as artificial suns began to brighten. But instead of their previous steady, predictable output, they now pulsed with subtle variations like heartbeats, like breathing, like life itself. Across 12 worlds, the Villani harmonic network came alive in ways its creators had never imagined. Technology began to adapt and evolve in real time, guided by the perfect marriage of ordered systems and chaotic innovation. "Incredible," the network voice whispered, and Alex could feel the awe of 60 billion minds experiencing wonder simultaneously. "We are still ourselves, but we are ... more." Through the connection, Alex could sense the change spreading throughout Villani civilization. Scientists were having breakthrough insights they couldn't explain. Artists were creating works that defied traditional harmonic principles, yet somehow felt more beautiful than anything they'd produced before. Even children were laughing with new kinds of joy, their play patterns becoming more creative and spontaneous. But the integration was taking its toll on Alex's human consciousness. The sheer scope of 60 billion interconnected minds was pushing his neural patterns beyond their limits. He could feel his individual identity beginning to blur at the edges, dissolving into the vast symphony of Villani thought. "You're dying." Kira's voice reached him through the network, carrying grief and gratitude in equal measure. "The connection is burning out your human neural pathways." Alex considered this with surprising calm. Death didn't seem particularly frightening when experienced as part of something so much larger than himself. He was becoming part of the harmony he had helped create, his chaotic consciousness enriching the eternal song of Villani civilization. But then another voice reached him, Captain Morgan, transmitted through his communicator and somehow translated by the network interface. "Alex, Earth Command is ordering full military mobilization. They think the Villani have captured you. If you don't respond in the next hour, they're going to assume you're dead and begin preparation for war." The prospect of conflict between humans and Villani, two species that could offer each other so much, cut through Alex's dissolution like a blade. With tremendous effort, he pulled his fragmenting consciousness back into some semblance of individual identity. "I have to go back," he told the network. "My people ... They don't understand what we've accomplished here. They'll destroy it out of fear." "Then stay," the network pleaded. "Become part of us permanently. Help us bridge our peoples not through diplomacy, but through connection itself." The offer was tempting. To exist forever as part of this vast, beautiful consciousness, to experience the universe through 60 billion different perspectives, to be part of the harmony he had helped create. But Alex Kane was human, and humans were chaos incarnate. They were wanderers and questioners, beings who thrived on uncertainty and change. Perfect harmony, no matter how beautiful, would eventually become its own kind of prison. "I'll return to my people," he decided, "but this connection we've created, it doesn't have to end here. My species and yours, we have something to offer. Each other, chaos and order, innovation and stability. Imagine what we could accomplish together." With careful precision, Alex began to extract his consciousness from the network, leaving behind carefully constructed bridges that would allow future communication between human and Villani minds. The process was agonizing, like tearing away parts of his soul, but necessary. As the interface pod opened, and Alex's individual consciousness returned fully to his human brain, He carried with him something no human had ever possessed: memory of perfect harmony, and the knowledge that chaos and order weren't enemies after all. They were dance partners waiting for the right music to begin.